Prepare STL presents What Matters to Me Most with Dr. LJ Punch, trauma surgeon and founder of the TSTL. Learn more at preparestl.com.
Hey family, it's Dr. LJ Punch and I'm at the T, a community of health working to reduce the impact of trauma in the St. Louis region and the place where we record the What Matters to Me Most podcast. Today, I'm going to be visiting with someone who you can't not think of when you think of food and love. That is Mama Cat herself, a woman who literally embodies feeding people with passion, not just the food they eat, but the love that she serves. She heads PotBangerz, put it together, right? A community group that's working to reduce hunger, a different kind of trauma in this region. Mama Cat and PotBangerz work to make sure people have food. And that work to ensure that people in need have food, I think, might have been just as much of an impact on COVID as the work I did in the hospital. I am so excited to hear from her and just feel the love that she has for our people. Join me as we get a dose of that Mama Cat goodness on What Matters to Me Most.
What matters to me most?
Mama Cat, thank you for taking time to come sit with me at the tea and talk about what matters to you most. I am so excited, and it just means so much that you would come and bless us with your presence. This is your first time to the tea, is that right?
First time. I can't believe it's my first time.
How we been hanging with each other all this time? We've never been. I've been in your kitchen.
Yeah.
I've eaten your food.
I've been like, I need to get over there. Over there. And then, this happened. I got to run and put this fire out.
Right.
So,
yeah. Just
so many things. So I'm just honored to be here right now. This is like everything right now. The energy in here is just like off the chain.
Well, thank you.
I see why everybody loved the tea.
Oh, right. It's all about the love that we have right here. It's right here.
Revolution. Revolution is love, right?
So, you are love. And tell me a little bit about how COVID has impacted the way in which you love on the people that you serve. Because you have been fighting the good fight. Tell me, what's it been like in these last many months trying to do what you do?
Oh, we had to flip the script a little bit because we was like, okay, it's probably something that's going to pass over, so it's not going to affect us at first, and we just kept boogieing on along, and then more and more people started getting sick, and I'm like, whoa, hold up, Nelly. And, the church over there where I cook, First Congregation, we all had a conversation. And it made sense to close the building down. That it needed to be sanitized because a lot of people came in and out of that building.
Okay, who are these people? Who is this us? Tell me about this
us. We are PotBangerz, Feed the Body Mission. I'm the founder and CEO of PotBangerz, and our mission is to serve our unhoused and underserved communities in St. Louis. Just love on the people, love on the village. Mm-hmm. When you do that, we can lift us all up, So when I'm out there with my fists in the air, asking you to love on my black life, I'm going to love on every black life. And so that's why, I moved from the streets to the halls with the families going through these murders and whatnot, to the streets of St. Louis, not just feeding people, but loving on them. I can give you a meal and walk away. But if I sit down and break bread with you, we can break down some walls together. So that's what I'm here for.
So you're touching on two really important things when it comes to COVID, right? You're talking about food, right? And you're talking about connection.
Right.
So let's break that down a little bit. How do you see your work in food empowering folks to endure in the setting of COVID?
Well, if you don't have the right nutrition, you can't fight off this disease.
Let's talk about it.
I make sure that my meals have all the food groups. In the bag, you even see in the bag, there's some fruit in the bag, there's some chips and cookies for them to have for later. But you're going to get your protein, you're going to get your vegetables, going to get your starches, all that, just to keep people strong so that they can fight off disease. If you just eating ramen noodles, they ain't going to get it.
Sure not.
So, we need to make sure that we take care of the people. And in that same space, like myself personally, I had to stop going on the street. I got heart disease. I got diabetes. I needed to sit in my hotel off to the side, cook the food, send the team out. But we had to cut all our numbers down. We had to move to another location because our building had closed down. So it affected us in a lot of ways, like where we would had access. I can go in the back room and get whatever I need. Now I got to take stuff, go over. But it was good. It was good. I think it taught us a lot of stuff. First one, don't count your blessings out. Know that you're blessed. Because this space that we have right here, we had everything. We got spoiled. Yeah. Now let's get out and rough it a little bit. And, it taught me to be more appreciative of the people who support the work.
You have had some ride or die people with you through this pandemic. I mean, I've been watching, and we've had, like I said, some chances to work together. How have you seen, though, the pandemic affect those connections that we so desperately need with each other?
Well, some of them had to sit out. The older folks had to sit out. But then the pandemic brought some younger bodies. I don't even know of any COVID cases that came out of like the protests over the summer. Because we was all
the science debunked that. The science, we're not even going to entertain that energy.
Yeah.
The science debunked that. The protests did not create COVID cases.
No, at all. Yes. No, that's what I'm saying. And some of them young folks I met out there, they came on board with us.
Wow.
And like they still there.
Wow.
Right? And then I had one young man had just came from England before this kicked off. And he from Manchester, English, Hadi Malik. And he came into America one day, next day he was in the kitchen with us. And he's still rocking with us.
Wow. So, oh my gosh, I'm trying to wrap my mind around the power of the dual pandemic, the pandemic of racism that moved through our country, or perhaps I should say the awareness of the racism that was there. You're telling me that almost fueled your mission, connecting people to deal with these other issues that are surrounding COVID and making sure people have what they need.
Right. Well, you had all these young folks who was here that was a part of a movement for Black lives. 95% of the unhoused population in St. Louis are Black people. So they out here ready to fight for Black lives. So come on, let's save some Black lives. Let's feed some people. Let's love on some people. Lift up those with the least among us. And they was here for it.
Can we just absorb that for a second? I mean, the connection between the access to basic things like housing and food, and the way that you cannot separate those basic rights from what you mean when you say Black Lives Matter. So, that work, fast forward now, it's year 2 of the pandemic. How do you see the energy around the vaccine starting to impact? Because, now there's maybe an option to boost our immune systems if we make the choice to get the vaccine. Right. How do you see that impacting the work that you're doing now?
Well, I see that I see people getting more energized to want to come back out. I see my young folks, they went to go get their vaccine, where some of them were saying, I'm not doing it. I'm like, but if you're going to keep doing this work, you got to do it,
Okay, so let's we got to really talk about that for a second, right? Because it sounds like, we all know there were some really not clear things about the vaccine. There's still not clear things.
Right. We're still learning.
We're still learning, but it sounds like they were able to balance, almost do the math, of the risks and the benefits, and it made them feel like that was the powerful choice for them to make.
Right.
Is that same choice available to the people you're serving? Are you seeing
the
vulnerable and the unhoused getting access to the vaccine like that?
I don't see that. And so that's problematic for me, because they are vulnerable. They out there and they need that. And a lot of them have health issues. So they're not getting what they need. Like you said earlier, when they go in the hospital, they're not always treated the way they should be treated. So a lot of people, and I always said this over and over and over again, when you come across an unhoused person, first thing you need to do is recognize their humanity. And that's a problem. They don't even see them as human. And it's not them and us, it's all of us, because what affects them affects us.
We'll be right back. Learn about the pros and the cons of the COVID-19 vaccines. Visit PrepareSTL.com to get the facts. Remember, the choice is yours. Prepare STL, helping St. Louisans of color prepare and prevail. What matters to me most is access.
When it comes to the COVID-19 vaccine, what matters to me most is that everyone who wants to take the vaccine have access.
This is What Matters to Me Most with Dr. LJ Punch, trauma surgeon and founder of the TSTL.
I have been saying that the experience of COVID is going to be defined by those among us who are the most vulnerable.
And that's it.
Okay, so tell me now. Okay, I mean we got some heavy things on the plate. I mean we know food and housing are essential to our health and well-being. We know that there are folks among us who don't have that access. It's an issue of poverty. It's an issue of racism itself.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
What has you the most worried when it comes to this next year for that recipe? Because you're in it. I mean, you're in it.
Right,
Tell me what's on your mind right now. What are you worried about?
You know, if I be honest, I can't say I let myself worry, but I have to say what I need to push more towards is making sure we lift up everybody and how that look, fighting to get them off the street. Get them the vaccines that they need. If they have drug problems, get them the help they need for drug problems. Don't put them in jail. Get them some treatment. If we have mental health issues, let's address that as well. But there's powers that be don't want to do that because that keeps them in power.
So let me tell you, that has been the story of the T through this pandemic, because we started out in March 2020, a pretty small organization with a couple of employees and a focus on violence. Now we are a 3-part organization with big public health campaigns around COVID and violence and opioids, with the subtext focus on homelessness. And I really have seen that while maybe some of the bigger powers that be have been slow, there has been a huge, vital grassroots effort in this region to supercharge those kinds of efforts. One of them being what we're here with today, Prepare STL. And so I want to then flip it around and say, it's got me feeling this way. What has you hopeful? What lessons have we learned that are going to really drive us forward and start correcting these injustices that have caused our people to suffer?
Well, what has me hopeful is that more eyes are opening. More, we can have a conversation around a piece of paper on the floor, but unless we've been down to pick up that piece of paper, we ain't did nothing. We're just talking about it, but we got to learn to be about it. And I think some people are starting to be about it, but we need more. So more conversations need to be had. Not just conversate, but kind of give that nudge. Come on here, let me show you. I could tell you about it, but let me take you to it. Mavis Staples say, I know a place, ain't nobody crying, ain't nobody worrying. I'll take you there. Let me take you there. And that's just, I'm hopeful that if we who woke, help wake our family up, then everybody can get up and have breakfast together.
Well,
So,
I'm going.
hopeful.
Sign me up. I'm going. Mama Cat, listen, you had COVID.
Yes.
This ain't theoretical.
No,
you.
this is
We're
real.
not sitting here being like, oh, tell me about how that impacted your life.
And I will tell you, I'm carrying some physical residual from COVID right now. I have spinal stenosis. I had spinal stenosis, but what COVID did was accelerated it. So now it's in my neck and whatnot. I'm having more problems with my walking. I'm going to keep pushing as long as I can keep on pushing. During my COVID, there was the physical pain. I mean, like pain going from my back down the back of my legs to the bottom of my feet. I couldn't sit down like I'm sitting down now. I couldn't lay down. I was just walking back and forth to the pain medication kick in. And then I pass out for a little while, get up, maybe about 20 minutes and the pain start up again. And this was going on for days. And, the isolation. Isolation is crazy. My husband, thank God he didn't get it. Him and my dogs went and got a hotel room.
Wow.
It was warm outside, so he came home every day, was in the backyard. And he was able to be there if I needed him. But at night, I had to set the alarm, and I was there by myself with my own thoughts. Ooh. And I'm a New Yorker, and I watched so many of my fellow New Yorkers die, and family, and friends. And the idea that it could be me now. And what did I do wrong? Why am I here? Because I did everything I thought I was doing right to make sure that I took care of myself in this moment. But somehow I got it.
Well, it did not get you. Because you're sitting right here right now.
You heard me say I got it.
And you're loving on people. And,
Yeah.
I just want to make a cry to our community. Help Mama Cat, help PotBangerz, help them serve those most in need right now. Because this is the real work of knowing how and making sure we thrive in the setting of this next year of COVID-19.
My program director when I was in college used to always say, where we go one, we go all.
Where we go one, we go all.
That makes sense.
It does.
And so we got to, like Asada Shakur say, love and support each other. That's the whole thing. We must love and support each other. I'm here for it. Till the casket drop, I'm going to be doing my thing.
Well, thank you, Mama Cat, and thank you for sitting down and talking with me today.
Thank you, Dr. Punch. And like I said, the tea, I'm in the building.
We popping.
What matters to me most?
Where we go one, we go all. I mean, she's living it, she is breathing it, and she is a model of what it means and what happens when we cherish the lives of those in our community, those Black lives in our community, and we do the work in community to make sure people have food and housing and the support and love they need. I mean, Mama Cat survived COVID and found a way to energize a new generation of helpers, to rally the community, to keep going, to weigh the risks and benefits of being exposed to this awful pandemic and being able to continue to serve, to utilize food, to utilize love, to utilize the vaccine, to be able to continue to be present as we all strive to thrive in the era of COVID-19.
What matters to me most is a presentation of Prepare STL. Prepare STL is a collaboration powered by the Missouri Foundation for Health in partnership with the Regional Health Commission, the City of St. Louis County, and other community health organizations to help prepare all St. Louisans for the effects of the COVID-19 response, how to stop its spread, and how to survive the pandemic physically, emotionally, and economically. Don't miss an episode of the What Matters to Me Most podcast with Dr. LJ Punch, trauma surgeon and founder of the TSTL, for the latest conversations on COVID-19 and STL, vaccines, racial health disparities, physical and emotional well-being, and more. Download the podcast at preparestl.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Executive producer, Vector Communications. What Matters to Me Most is another positive production of Rare Gem Productions.